Recently, I was wondering about a certain theory. Like the title says, I was wondering if Ordon Village and Outset Island could be the same place. Hyrule Encyclopedia already mentions this theory on page 59, so the connection itself between those two locations isn't a new idea. However, with this video, I want to expand on it, if possible. This is just a rough sketch of a theory, but I nevertheless thought it could be interesting to present it here. I guess the ideal and most obvious starting point of this theory is the geographical area of these two villages. They both are located far in the south of Hyrule, to the south of Lake Hylia and Greatfish Isle respectively. Those two places, coincidentally, according to Hyrule Encyclopedia, also are the same location, which would fit neatly into this theory. Strictly speaking, Ordon Village is slightly more to the east than Outset Island, according to Wind Waker's and Twilight Princess's maps, but Hyrule has never been super consistent with its geography across games. And who's to say that the maps are drawn to scale? Some creative liberty has to be granted for this theory to work. Maybe the names of these two locations are connected as well. They could have the same linguistic root and have developed to Ordon and Outset in Twilight Princess and Wind Waker respectively, since the timelines branched out in Ocarina of Time. People's language adapted differently in both timelines. The addition of village and island makes sense in the logical and environmental context of both places. However, I'm no linguistic or etymologist, so I won't make any certain claims here. If both names are rather different in the Japanese version of the games, then this speculation isn't any evidence, just a far-fetched thought. The names most certainly could be different in other languages as well. Let's now go into more detail regarding geography and topography, beginning with Ordon Village. When taking this theory and this scenario seriously, I think one question has to be asked. Where could the villagers have run to in Ordon Village in order to escape the flood? Ordon Village is accessed via a wooden rope bridge. The chasm seen entering Ordon Village, which I will call Ordon Gorge from now on, could explain how Outset became an island. The water could have flown into it and thus form the coastline of Outset. Ordon Village is entered from the north. This will become important later. This means the gorge is running in a west-east direction. Both walkable sides at the end of the bridge are roughly on the same level of height. There are several places between Ordon Village and Faron Woods where an elevation of ground is present. This would support the theory that Ordon Village could be a safe place in order to escape rising water coming from outside the village. There are some smaller decreasing parts, but in general the elevation when walking from Faron Woods to Ordon Village goes up. Ordon Village is surrounded by mountains. Even if the whole village would be flooded due to the river running through the village, people could retreat to higher places around the settlement. There are several mountain tops present around Ordon Village, especially to the southeast of the village. Houses are built on different levels of elevation. Ladders for accessing these higher parts are a common sight in Ordon Village. In summary, Ordon Village being a mountainous area is a great place for survivors of the Great Flood to settle. As I've said, Ordon Village is entered from the north by going south. Outset Island is also approached from the north. It's most accessible from this direction, and its two most important landmarks, the small wooden pier and the watchtower, are located in the north of the island, facing north. This would fit Ordon's physical approach greatly. Just like in Ordon village, houses on Outset Island are built on different levels of height and ladders are present. Considering current inhabitants are descendants of survivors of a flood, this makes sense. The two mountaintops seen on Outset Island go in a west-east direction. They could be these mountaintops found southeast of Ordon village. It's not a perfect fit, however, maybe the Great Flood damaged those mountains a lot, so only the mass seen in Wind Waker is left. But they are still somewhat close together to be reachable by a wooden bridge, I'd say. The accessible area and its cliffs of Outset Island leading up to one of the mountaintops is also located in the southeast of the island, which would fit Ordon village's mountains. There are two mountains which at first glance fit even better. The two ones in front of Ordon Gorge. Two small peaks relatively close to each other in a west-east line. However, I am strongly against this possibility, since this would put Outset Island in front of Ordon Gorge and too far to the north for my liking, since the village itself is north of both peaks seen in Wind Waker. So I personally rule this possibility out, although others may prefer it. Another possibility regarding mountains is the following. What if Outset Island really lies to the west of Ordon village and its region? Meaning Outset Island is located in the southwest of Hyrule, while Ordon village lies in the south of Hyrule. So I checked this part of Ordon, and as it turned out, the village was surrounded by mountains to the west as well. This would therefore allow for different placements of Ordon village and Outset Island respectively to be true as well, yet still allow for somewhat of a connection between both settlements. The river flowing through Ordon village from southwest to northeast could maybe be the same body of water that divides the two islands of Outset Island. However, then the geography of the mountaintops wouldn't fit. Both locations specialize in animal husbandry: goats, cuckoos and horses in Ordon, pigs on Outset. Both locations also have a fairy fountain, not in the same place though, showing a spiritual connection to Hyrule. And with this we've already reached the next topic. What evidence is there against this theory? Obviously, the shape and position of the mountains in both games is very different. This would be a direct argument against this theory, but I nevertheless tried to somehow make it fit. I tried to work out the possibility that Ordon Gorge could be present around Outset Island. However, it's not clear how the King of Red Lions could sail towards the island without hitting rocks in shallow water, where the other northern side of the ground in Twilight Princess would be. But maybe he slightly did and we just didn't notice it? Also, if we accept that Ordon Gorge is north of Outset Island, some peaks seen in Twilight Princess don't add up with the lack of rocky islands north of Outset Island in Wind Waker. Outset Island has a subtropical climate, with palm trees being present, which we don't see in Ordon village. There, a lot more fir trees are present. However, in the Forest of Fairies, we see trees more alike to the ones found in Farron Woods. Also, perhaps the Great Flood could have changed the climate of Outset, which would have made growing palm trees possible, whereas it wouldn't have been before. So, could Ordon village and Outset Island be the same place? I'd say it's possible. Maybe both are not 100% the exact same location, but Outset Island could definitely be pretty close to Ordon village in the same area. And perhaps both people in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess could have had the same ancestors in Ocarina of Time. That's it for this theory. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.